Hello and welcome back to Read Becca. Y'all voted yes, so we are going to talk about anticipated releases. And I'm just gonna, I think, collect a couple at a time when I've got 2 or 3 or 5 in this case, things coming up. So I'm not going to be covering a certain period of time. I'm just gonna put these out whenever I feel like it, more or less. As well, I read all genres. I read both nonfiction and fiction. So this is also going to not be very genre specific. I'm going to cover a wide smattering of different things. So that's typical of me. If you're here at the channel, you already know that. I did try to get this done ahead of any of them actually releasing. However, I decided to take my filming time yesterday and use it to take down my Christmas decorations because we're supposed to get some very cold, it is very cold today, and snow potentially, so I wanted to get them down before that. So my break to do that meant I am a little bit behind on these, but they've just come out. So yeah, we will cover a couple of things that are already available to you. So the first book is going to be Safety in Numbers by Sophie Penhaligon, and that is out January 4th, and it is self-published. So this is from an author that I read previously, Christmas with Hamish, over the holiday, and I really enjoyed it. So Safety in Numbers is going to be all about a mathematician who becomes assistant to this billionaire CEO scientist who is the kind of like Steve Jobs type, I guess, who is really that entrepreneurial, charismatic guy. And so I think she has recently been through an accident, and that's how she wound up in this job, and she is now disabled and lost a lot of confidence because of that. So I really enjoyed the holiday romance that I read from her, and I think this one sounds great, particularly with the kind of heavier themes of her having become disabled. And I saw Penhaligon do that heavier topics really, really well in the previous book that I read from her. So I'm looking forward to this one. And I think because it's self-published, this is available on Kindle Unlimited if you are a KU reader. So next I have Keeping It Unreal, Black Queer Fantasy and Superhero Comics by Darieck Scott. This one's out January 4th from New York University Press. And I have an arc of this one, but the arc indicated the 18th was actually the release date. But when I was doing research, it indicated the 4th. Publishing dates are constantly in flux. So either it is available to you now or it will be available very soon. As I said, I have an arc of this one, and I'm really enjoying it, though it is definitely on the more academic end. So I would say if you do have an academic level interest in the topics, as it says in the subtitle, of Black power in comics and the expression of power structures of race and gender and sexuality in comics and fantasy, this would be of a lot of interest to you. Things like Afrofuturism do come up in here, so really, really interesting stuff, and something we don't see a ton of at the academic level for sure, so really interested in that one. Next, I have Clean Air by Sarah Blake, out February 8th from Algonquin. And this one is from the debut author of Nama, which was very intriguing to me. This one is going to be a climate sci-fi mystery, I believe, and it's all following these women from 3 generations of a family who are in a future that is post-climate apocalypse. And at this time, they have been through things that were not the expected outcome of the climate change apocalypse. It's really that pollen from trees has made the air unbreathable. And so everyone is living in domes and walking around with masks. And because they're in this precarious situation of not having really breathable air if it's unfiltered, there is a murderer who is around cutting holes in these domes overnight. So the serial killing starts up. But what happens is that the young daughter of this family starts sleep talking about these murders, and that sets off the mother of this family into really becoming enamored with the serial killer situation. And she is really taking seriously what the daughter says as if it's going to lead them to the serial killer. So the sleep talking kind of strange dreamlike element to this sounds odd. It sounds like a really thrilling read to me. So I'm very curious to see how these climate elements with the serial killer mystery interconnect in some way. So really interesting one for me. So next I have Where I Can't Follow by Ashley Blooms, February 15th from Sourcebooks. And this one is set in Appalachia, which, if you're not familiar, is kind of a mountainous, hilly region in middle America. And it's very typified by people who are living in poverty, in very working class communities. And these communities relied on mills and mining for their entire economy. And so as those things have shut down, they've only become more impoverished. So I think this focuses very much on that perspective of having a primary character who is dealing with a constant financial struggle and all of the kind of problems and stress of that. And so she just wants to get away. And then she has the opportunity to step through a portal. And there are questions of what she would be leaving behind and whether or not she would be able to come back if she did go through this portal. So I think this is going to be both contemporary and portal fantasy. It sounds really, really intriguing to take a look at it from that perspective of this Appalachian individual and escaping possibly the family that you love, but is in some ways a burden. So really interesting perspective. So I'm really looking forward to that one. Lastly on the list, I have When We Were Birds by Ayanna, Lloyd, Banwo, out March 15th from Doubleday. And this one I have an arc of as well. So I'm really looking forward to getting to this one because look at that gorgeous cover. I hope I love this one as much as I love the cover. This one sounds really, really cool because it is a dreamlike mythic story set in Trinidad and Tobago. And I think it follows a romance between these two individuals. One who is a woman from the lineage that carries out sort of assisting the souls of people who have died in their community and shuttling them off into the spirit realm. And the other one who wants absolutely nothing to do with dead bodies and has kind of always sworn off these dead bodies, no interaction with them, and is kind of forced into a situation for money to become a gravedigger. So sounds like a really wonderful premise and not anything I have ever read before. So I'm really, really looking forward to that one as well. So those are my picks for anticipated releases. Hopefully you will put some of these on pre-order. Thanks so much for watching.